Books on Books on the Brain.
Hello, and welcome back to Books on the Brain, a podcast of books and nonsense. My name is Danielle.
And I'm Deirdre.
And we're back, baby. And we're looking sun-kissed.
You might be.
I look red in the face because it's so hot here.
I have been indoors for the last week, so I
That's
don't
fair.
think I'm catching any rays.
That's fair. I just went to a wedding over the weekend. And it was like overcast, but I still did get a little sunburn. And I said, checks out. Checks out, baby.
I know. I was at a so different. I was at a funeral. And we went to the burial, and I kid you not, we were outside for 5 minutes, and we got to the repast, and my friend looked at me, and my arms were red, and she was like, "Oh my God!" And I was like, "This is between me sitting in the car because I do get sunburnt through windows, as well as standing outside the burial." I was like, "Oh my God."
It do be like that sometimes. It do be.
Yeah, she was like, "Deirdre, we gotta get you an umbrella."
It said, oh, I would rather wear a veil than carry an umbrella. And that's the truth.
I have carried an umbrella when I've been in Europe because I got inspired by the Asian women in Rome, standing in line at the Vatican. And honestly, it slaps. Like, I would rather carry a little mini travel umbrella and pull it out when the sun is beating down on me and create my own shade than deal with heat stroke, because that has been sure. I don't know if have you ever had a heat stroke?
I've had it once and I literally thought I was dying.
Dying.
Yeah, it was bad.
It's awful.
Like way worse than it has any business being.
I would not wish it on anybody.
No, it's bad. I like the new like fans, the like portable fans that you can buy that like you either like or they like sit like a necklace. Technology, man, what can't we do? What can't we do? No.
I'm not answering the question.
We'll leave it there. It's been a hot minute since we've talked on this podcast. How's your life been? So many things have happened for both of us. Let's fill in the listeners.
So many things. I graduated from grad school. I'm done, everybody. I'm done. So exciting. It's funny. It felt anticlimactic because I wasn't in classes this year. So I was writing my thesis and then I submitted that in April. And so it had been cleared and like uploaded to the publication website and everything for like a month before my actual graduation ceremony. So when I got back to work, everybody was like, how was it? And I was like, fine. My expensive piece of paper is coming in the mail. Like I walked across the stage and they put a hood on me and I wore a black sack. You know, and it was such a different feeling than my undergrad, where I was in classes up to 2 weeks before the graduation ceremony. Like it just had a completely, and I was like living on campus at that point, like just a completely different vibe. But it's done. My qualifying paper topic is pants performance and perception, the impact of New York's disguise law from 1845 on gendered dress. Ooh. For anybody that is curious. And then so that's grad school wrapped, done, just waiting on my diploma. Right after graduation, I got on a plane literally the next day and I went to Salt Lake City, Utah, the most glamorous city in the United States, some would say.
Both salt and sea. No,
and mountains.
Salt Lake City.
Salt and sea.
Don't ask me.
there's a salty lake and a lot of mountains that were very pretty. And I was at a conference for the Costume Society of America, their national
Whoa.
symposium, because I was presenting research on the development of the Irish dance hard shoe.
Yeah.
So it was like 300-ish years of history that I was sharing. And that was pretty cool. I actually went with one of my classmates, which was nice. We realized like a couple weeks before that we were both presenting. So it was nice to have a familiar face there to kind of combat everything with. And again, people have been asking me how that was, and I was like, it was a lot of talking. Like, it was a lot of me listening to other people talk. It was a lot of people asking me who I am, what I do, where I'm from, and I got really good at giving my like 2-sentence, this is who I am, this is what I do, this is why I'm here. And yeah, I just spent like 3 days in a hotel walking around and sitting a lot.
Fun.
So those are the 2 big things that have happened, and what took up like all my brain space in May. I had not an ounce left for anything else.
It's fair.
At all.
It's fair. It's fair. Well, how exciting. You have had such a whirlwind, exciting, fast-paced couple of weeks. And I've just been in summer school.
Don't say it like that. That makes it sound like you were in trouble.
No, I'm willingly taking summer classes so I finish my degree a semester early. So that I can start making adult money a semester early. I'm taking 4 courses over the summer. I'm taking 3 in this session and then 1 in the next session. And I will also be working full-time while I'm doing it. And a couple part-time jobs on top. Because, like, what else are you doing if you're not working yourself to the bone in this economy? But the classes I'm taking right now, very interesting. I'm doing a class on English language arts. So we're talking all about how to teach reading. And I'm like, oh, my people. It's great. Reading this textbook, it's called Disruptive Thinking. It's crazy good. It's basically like we just need to teach kids how to disrupt their thinking when they're reading and like actually care about the things they're reading. And like it sounds like froofy, but like I like it a lot. I am learning a lot and I'm like, oh wow, yeah, this is great. This is great. I'm also taking a religious education course, which many a foe and many a friend, when I told them I was taking this course, was like, what? You? Why? And I said, I'm nothing if not a little controversial. Someone's gonna be in that room starting fights. It'll be me. I'm just kidding. I did take it because I wanted to graduate a semester early, and it ended up being a really cool class. I did, however, and I've been texting Deirdre about this. One of our assignments for the class is, and this is what I've come to understand is like a very common thing for post-secondary religion courses, which I don't know how I feel. But we had to attend a religious service or experience of a faith that we don't prescribe to and then do like a paper on it. And so I was like, I haven't stepped foot in a church in many moons. I think the last time I did was to watch my little sister directed a Christmas concert at her church. And I went and I was like, that don't really count. Come her as a guest. But the last time I actually attended a church service, probably 6 years ago, I don't know, which is crazy. But I went to an LDS service, which was Deirdre and I had a long conversation about how we both thought you weren't allowed to go to LDS services, and I don't know.
I was convinced.
I'm not convinced that I was allowed to be there, but I was. No one kicked me out. And then yesterday, I took my friend because it was like a reciprocity thing. Like, you take me to LDS Mass, I'll take you to Roman Catholic Mass. So I took her to a Roman Catholic Mass in the city. And she like looks at me halfway through because like I guess I never really noticed how somber the tone of Roman Catholic masses are. They're somber. Like,
well, and it depends on the time of year you go, right?
and that's
Like
the thing. I was
if
like,
you're going to a Christmas or an
oh,
Easter,
I was like, Christmas or
it's
Easter,
so different.
Palm Sunday would be lit.
So different.
This man, this priest, had just been at the hospital anointing someone who had passed away, and he shows up to service late and then does this service, and I was like, she's like, is it always a somber? I'm like, I think it's extra somber today.
Yeah.
It was crazy, but it it was, we also got to, it was so sweet. There was two little guys there, two little kiddos. It was their first time receiving communion, so they got little certificates. Like they won a participation award. It was very sweet. I was like, I
That's
never got a
cute.
certificate for getting communion. And
I
they
think
were
I did at my first Holy Communion.
I just had to wear a little white dress and a veil, like a little mini bride. That was
I'm
it.
sure I got a I don't think the certificate was handed to me. I'm sure it was handed to my parents.
What is it certifying? What could you possibly be certified in?
I don't know that it happened.
They're like proof that now your soul
It's like a birth
belongs to
certificate.
God. Yeah, perfect. It's like citizenship. But yeah, I've been doing my classes, living my life. Had that wedding I went to, so I got to all my family from Winnipeg all came out to Medicine Hat, which has the largest teepee in the world, in case you were wondering. And
Very cool.
it was wonderful, and I got to see my dog. Oh my god, I gotta tell you this story. So
Please do.
Stanley was there, obviously, because I love Stanley. So Stanley was staying in the room with me and my mom and my aunt and my cousin.
Incredible.
And they have two dogs. And this is like big news because it's taken my aunt was like deathly afraid of dogs. And her kids love dogs. They love Stanley. So she slowly worked up to getting a dog named Toby, who's like the cutest little baby. And then they got another dog named Zoe. So they have two dogs, which I was like, wow. But my my mom was like, they gotta meet, like they have to meet Stanley. Stanley's not good with their dogs. He's like, I like to say he came into our lives when we needed a protector, and we're still teaching him how to not be so protective. I don't know if that's true, but it makes me feel better about how grouchy he is with other dogs. But he was so good with the other two dogs. Like Zoe, we like dropped both of their leashes and they were just sniffing each other. And then Toby, they were like walking in a pack. And I was like, I literally was sitting in the corner videotaping and sending just videotapes to my sister on my phone, my sisters. And I was like, you won't believe this. You won't believe this. I was so proud of my stupid little dog. Proud of him. Proud of him. And what else has happened in my life? Oh, I find out my PS3 placement probably either tomorrow or next week. So I'll find out where I am for 4 months in the fall. Everybody cross your fingers and your toes that it's a high school placement, because I love elementary, but if I get 3 out of 3 elementary placements, I don't know what I'll do. I'll be sad. I won't be sad. I'll feel like my destiny has been written for me to do elementary if that's all I get. And then that's it. That's all I've oh yeah, and I'm also trying to knit a blanket. And by knit I do mean crochet. So look at all these squares I made. So I gotta just put them together. And no, the colors don't match. But I've been doing them in class. So I bring yarn to class and I sit and I crochet while my profs are lecturing.
I love that.
So I'm gonna have a summer session blanket.
Very nice.
Okay, that's everything I've ever talked about in my entire life.
Ever.
That's it. Okay, what's next on the docket?
So it's been a while since we've chatted, but I don't know about you. I have barely been on TikTok, like in a consuming news capacity.
Fair. Sorry.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I say I haven't been on TikTok. I'm on TikTok every day.
I know, we're sending videos every day to each other.
Exactly. But what I mean is I'm not consuming a lot. Number one, I'm not being sent a lot of bookshelf content. Number two, I don't feel like I'm consuming the community content very much.
Unless you're on your following feed. I don't see it on my For You page much anymore.
Exactly. So if there is any other news, I haven't been seeing it, but we did want to talk about two things that have kind of crept up onto our radars over the last week. The first of which being Jesus June. Which funny, we were just talking about, or you were just talking about religion.
I was talking about religion, and I did a paper today. I did like an oral paper talking about significant opportunities that religious education holds for us. And I was like, yeah, we can, like, in a pluralistic society, we can like truly like start to decolonize if we start to like going off about this. And then we remember Jesus June, and I say, I take it back. Get it out of here.
So Danielle, can you tell the people what Jesus June is?
So Deirdre sent me a video. That's literally the first time I saw it. So Deirdre sent me a video on TikTok of this. I don't even remember if the woman in the video was saying, or if she was like, I just noticed this thing on Twitter. Do you remember? I can't remember.
She noticed it.
She noticed on Twitter. So she was on Twitter, and she noticed that people, instead of doing Pride Month, which June is, they're gonna do Jesus June and take back the rainbow. And here's the thing, I don't know if you've noticed this, and maybe it's just like where I'm located, but like there's been this weird pushback against Pride this year. Like when last year and the year before it was like, yes, girly, rainbow slay, woohoo, capitalism, consumerism. This year it's like, get out of here, get out of here. It's so weird. And it's obviously dominoing from all of the things that are happening both in the States and in Canada about trans rights. But it's just like, so people are not going to read queer books in June. They're going to read Jesus books.
Trying to like center Jesus in their reading, which I'm like, what are you going to do? Read the Bible?
Yeah. And there is like Christian romance books, which I always think are funny. I think we should read one.
Not gonna happen.
I think we should.
My religious trauma is too fresh.
That's fair.
Not happening.
That's fair. I'll just read it.
I'll read priest. I'll read saint.
I tried reading those books. They were too much for me. And that's a lot coming from me, but I was like, I cannot read these books.
Yeah.
They were like, because I was like, I love the second season of Fleabag. Like, that is my bread and butter. I love the second season of Fleabag. And people are like, it's just like it. I'm reading it. I'm like, it's very different. It's very different. It's very different. There's like this angst in Fleabag, and in those books, it's just like,
yeah.
Anyway, that is what those books are like.
Yeah.
So how are you centering Jesus this June in your life?
I'm not. It's funny.
Conference call with him then.
I just had, so like I said, I recently was at a funeral.
Yeah.
And it was a Catholic ceremony, and we all know I grew up Catholic, but my one friend who I was with is not. And so when we were driving to the repast, she asked me, she was like, what's your relationship with religion? Like, she was like, I haven't been to a lot of Catholic ceremonies, so this was kind of new for me. And we kind of just got to talking about our own spirituality and like relationships with religion. And it kind of got me like rethinking about where I am in my spiritual journey, because, I like growing up, and I'm taking this much more serious than I think you intended it to be.
No. You answer it however you want.
Growing up with like a very strong religious presence in my family, in my house, in my life, between like Catholic school, being involved in the church, all my friends were Catholic, my family was very Catholic, we had a priest in the family, It's been a journey of my adulthood, sort of figuring out like what my relationship to that religion is, because I do acknowledge that there are some great moral teachings and values in the Catholic faith. There are a lot of things that I do believe to be true. Love one another, do unto others as you would do unto yourself, be kind to your neighbor, all of those things. But there is so much that has been ingrained in the religion due to men seeking power and control over congregations instead of cultivating a flock, that I've kind of had to be like, okay, where can I sort of separate like my own beliefs and my own relationship to a higher power, spirituality, like thinking about like other religions that I've gotten the opportunity to learn about, and like talking with friends from other religions and seeing like how they are all interconnected, and how that sort of like keeps me moving through this world and thinking about, you know, the energies that I bring in and put out in my life.
Slay.
So yeah, it's a much more like personal spiritual thought process than bringing Jesus into my reading, because he ain't there.
Jesus is like standing there, he's like, oh, that was beautiful, but what Jesus books are you reading this month?
It's funny, I just finished The Foxglove King, which is actually like very heavily centers a religious it's like, it's literally about like church and kingdom and the relationship between like tracts from a church and how the teachings from a god can influence people, and some people can take it to mean too much to them, and they will manipulate it for their own benefit and their own purposes. So yeah, I just came off of like a very interesting religious integrated fantasy book.
Well, there you go. There you go. You would love this class I'm taking right now. I'm like, that conversation literally fits into what we talk about 100% of the time.
I'm sure. And Alexa's been watching it this week, and I need to go back and watch a couple episodes of Shiny Happy People on Amazon.
It's crazy.
I know.
I need
watched
to rewatch
half
the
an
ending.
episode.
Yeah.
So I need to go back and actually watch most of it.
It's crazy, and now I think it's the perfect time for you to go back and watch it because the Duggars have put out a statement, and I'm like,
oh, okay.
It's not a good one, but
I can't imagine that it is.
No. Yeah, and recommendation, if you're looking at how to find a way to put Jesus in your June, you can watch Shiny Happy People.
Ding ding ding
ding ding ding. All joking, and first of all, thank you for sharing that with us, Deirdre. I know talking about religion can be like vulnerable and like sometimes like but thanks for sharing. I appreciate it. I appreciate you feeling like you were comfortable sharing, so thank you.
Yeah, but are you going to talk about putting Jesus in your TBR, or are we going to keep talking about this topic? Because I'm gonna put Jesus in my final project in
my religious class, and then I'll put Jesus in my June.
Nice.
Yeah, Jesus and I don't see eye to eye, and that's okay.
That's okay.
That's okay. What do you want to talk about?
I just wanted to say I agree with you that this year particularly, it feels like the approach to Pride is socially, like on a larger social scale, not just like my small social bubbles.
Yeah.
Very different than it has the past couple years. And I agree with you. I think it absolutely has to do with the book banning, the drag bills, the transphobia, and this like grip of control that is trying to be wielded.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting that brands got away with rainbow capitalism for several years, and this year suddenly there's a significant amount of pushback, and they're pulling campaigns.
And it's like, I wonder if it's any more pushback than they've gotten in previous years, but this year it feels like the spotlight is on them a little bit more, because the amount of companies that put up like rainbow logos June 1st and then took them down like 9 hours later, gross. Like, what's the point of that? It's, for me, it's been really interesting, and like I know I talked about this I don't know, probably a month ago. But that video that ContraPoints did on J.K. Rowling in the Witch Trials of J.K. Rowling, I was thinking about it again today because I've been seeing all these Instagram stories pop up of people being like, the conversations that are happening around trans people in legislation are exactly the same conversations that were being said about gay people, like in the height of that homophobic era. And it's true. Yeah. And she does a great job of summarizing it with all of like the clips and news articles. So if you're looking for like more information, fact based on that, I cannot recommend checking out that video more. It's a slog. It's long, but it's crazy. Like it made it radicalized me. I was like,
yeah,
in the best way possible.
Yeah, but it has made me think, like, yet again, we are not free of people who are so hell-bent on putting down groups of people. It's nope. Like, and it yeah.
It's like, I literally just saw today that there's a teacher candidate, which is like what I am, in Ontario, who was kicked out of his program for being gay because his teacher mentor found out he was gay because he talked about it in class and then went on like a tirade and got him not only kicked out of his practicum but kicked out of the entire school. And now he's taking it to court and all this stuff, and I'm like, it's literally in Thunder Bay in Ontario. And that's crazy. That, I mean, it's not crazy because shit like this happens all the time. But it just like feels like it's getting closer and closer to home every time. I'm like, oh my god, it's crazy. Not to mention, I don't know if you know about this, we just had an election in Alberta, and I'm not too happy about it. But the party I didn't want winning won. Danielle Smith, whom I share a name with, won, and I don't like her. But there was an MLA, which is like each city is like put into like whatever, and you get seats. Sure. However, MLA, whatever. There was an MLA in Lacombe, which is like this little town, central Alberta-ish, that compared trans kids to feces in chocolate chip cookies, and she won her riding. And I said, that's what I said. So anyway, that's my tirade.
Yeah.
The world sucks right now, but don't forget Jesus June. Or
Jesus June.
Alternatively, you could read some cool queer books in June, and that's cool too.
Yeah, I agree. So in other book news, I think the other large thing that happened, which everybody's been talking about, is the author that called a reviewer a bitch because she gave her 4 stars on Goodreads. I actually did a little
oh my god,
research on this because I wanted to make sure we got all our facts straight. So
good.
Sarah Stusek was an emerging YA author, former Veep and House of Cards production staffer, according to a Reddit
interesting
thread. Yes, and according to Google. Fascinating. So they were putting out a book that was scheduled to release in September, and obviously reviewers were reading ARCs, and this reviewer wrote a review on Goodreads and left 4 stars. Perfectly reasonable. But no, Sarah took to TikTok, and I did not watch the video because, to be honest, I don't need that kind of energy in my life. But she called the reviewer a bitch, and it spiraled from there. I think we can all agree that that is so wildly inappropriate, and it spiraled so much that the publisher, which is Spark Press, dropped Stusek and no one knows what's going to happen with this novel. There was so much coming out after the initial video came out. She posted a video after basically saying like, I'm a comedian, it was a joke. No one's laughing.
What's funny?
Then allegedly, it was found out that she had actually paid to have her book published. Allegedly. I don't know if that's true or not. And because everybody was like, this author has 100,000 followers on TikTok.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were like, I've never heard of this person.
Suspicious.
And allegedly, they were also paying for bot followers as well.
Cringe.
Allegedly.
Alleged
I have no proof. So
it's okay.
I have the word of the internet. That's it. Yeah, and I was like, today I was scrolling through that Reddit thread just to kind of see what people outside the book talk circle were saying. And some people were like, this has gone too far, blah, blah, blah. Other people were like, I mean, look what happened to Lauren Huff, which I was like, TBT to Lauren Huff.
R.I.P.
And R.I.P. And, you know, we've said it once, we'll probably say it again, like there's just an etiquette that you have to have, and Sarah fucked around and she found out.
She did find out.
Number one, it is not okay to like come into a community that could potentially enjoy your book and slander a creator when that community is creator based. Number two, I had a number two and it just left my brain. It just says a lot more about your character as a person to me if you're willing to stoop so low. Also, like 4 stars is a good rating.
I know, and that's the thing. It's like self-report more, please. Like,
yeah,
that you are not
like,
in book spaces often.
I'm so sorry you don't have a perfect score. I think you need to go talk to your therapist about that.
I'm like, nobody has a perfect score on Goodreads, and if they do, it's because they have 2 reviews.
Yeah.
And it's, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And my thing is, like, it sucks because because the book's not published, nobody gets to form an opinion on the actual book. It's like everyone's basing everything off of her and her poopy character. So it sucks for her because it's like, your book could be great, but because you are pulling these stunts before the book is published, people can't even be like, but the book was okay. Like, it's just like, this is awful, and you are
and it puts
awful.
a sour taste in my mouth. Like, I'm just not in the business of supporting people that are trash.
Exactly. It was crazy. That was like the one time book talk was oh my god. Was sorry, cat hair. Kind of moved back onto my For You page was during that because everybody had something to say.
Yes.
And you know what, I was like, go off. And like Par for the Course, people went and bomb reviewed the book, so it was sitting at like a 1 point something on Goodreads or on Storygraph, I can't remember.
Even the reviewer went and changed.
Saw that.
I was like, good for you.
I said, good for you. And I just don't know. And part of me thinks the only reason why history is repeating itself, it's because it's authors who come into this space thinking they can use TikTok as just marketing and promotion, and their books are going to go viral and they're going to sell millions of books, but aren't actually part of these book spaces. They don't know the decorum, so every couple months they come and they make the same mistakes as the person before them, and we're like, what are you doing?
But it also reeks of privilege.
Oh, for sure.
Like, I can come on here, I can say whatever I want, and there will not be consequences for my actions, because I believe there was like a leak of privacy involved in some of the like comments and stuff. And you know, that is also something we've talked about on this podcast with authors of the past, that it's like you're not only demolishing your own reputation, you are headed down a very, very scary rabbit hole.
Yeah, like potentially legal consequences. Like that stuff gets spooky. Yeah, I remember seeing
Because
that too.
the internet is not a vacuum. Like it does not exist in a vacuum. There are real world consequences for the things you say online.
Exactly. And then when people get these consequences, they're like, I didn't mean it. It's like, well,
you said it.
You said it. You said it, and you said you're a comedian. So, haha.
And plenty of people screen recorded it.
And that's the kicker. That is the kicker.
It will live on.
It will live on for eternity. I just want to put this on your radar. Put it on you, the home radar. If you
I went to go see the Britney Spears musical this week, so.
Oh, and Juliet? No. Once Upon
One More Time.
Have you seen And Juliet?
No, not yet. I'm hoping to see it when my show closes.
There's a guy I went to school with who's in it, and I was
like,
pretty cool. But yeah, looks good. They all look good. So many jukebox musicals on Broadway right now.
I have mixed feelings about Once Upon One More Time, but that's a story for another day.
I don't even know the plot of it. You don't have. You can talk about it later. Everybody go home and Google it, and then we'll talk about it next week. What was I saying? Oh yeah, if you have not yet, do yourself a favor and look at the set photos for It Ends With Us and laugh. People were upset, and I was like, "What did you expect? What did you expect?" Like, I don't know. People were expecting magic to be performed, and then all of a sudden it was like I literally saw this one TikTok of this this user who it had pictures of Blake, who's like, it's a little bit of like grungy kind of like look, like it's not super like, I don't know the right way to describe it, but I think it's different than people were expecting, even though that is exactly how she is described in the books. So I'm kidding. But this girl was like, we're never gonna get the Lily we deserve. And then she does a montage of photos of like rail thin blonde women in private jets and stuff, like photos from Pinterest. And I'm like, that's not all.
That's so rude.
Whatever. Like, it just made me laugh because people were like, she's supposed to be pretty. I'm like, Blake Lively is one of the most gorgeous women on the planet.
She is stunning. Literally, what are you talking about?
This is not her.
Is she maybe like older than I thought Lily would be? Granted, I know nothing about this book. All I know is the like basis of what it's about. I know the character's name is Lily, and in my mind, knowing the books that Colleen Hoover writes, I thought she was maybe in her 20s. Maybe she's not. Maybe she's older. So I was surprised that Blake Lively was cast as her because she is, just older than 20.
Yeah. No, it's true. I think because Ryle is a doctor, so they're in their late 20s, I think. I'm not positive. I can't quite recall. But there's dual timelines, right? It's like her as a teen and then her older. So I'm wondering if they just made her look a little bit older.
Gotcha.
When she's older, so that she can look, because I don't know if they cast a younger actor to be the younger Lily.
Her teen self.
I don't know. Honestly, because I don't really care.
And I'm not going to see the movie. I'll
watch it when it's on streaming.
If somebody I appreciate the opinion of is reacting to things, I'll watch it, but I have zero interest in consuming anything related to Colleen Hoover.
I think I'm gonna go opening weekend. Hear me out. Sit in the theater and just every time something happens be like, that's not how it happens in the book. That is not how it happens in the book. Just to ruin everybody's viewing experience. I think it'll be fun for me.
It'd be a great time.
I think they would really like that. I think everyone would appreciate my opinion.
I agree.
Anyway, if you've not looked at those set photos, do yourself a favor. They are something. They're something.
There's something.
Speaking of something, how are those goals doing?
I didn't set any, so.
True. How's your reading going? How's reading?
So I just finished my let me look. 53rd book of the year.
Yes.
That's not
slay.
true. 52nd. I can't count.
That's okay.
Oh my god. I like have made note and I miscounted for June. So 52nd. I finished my 52nd book of the year earlier today. It was The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King by Carissa Broadbent, the follow-up to The Serpent and the Wings of Night. Yeah. Thumbs down. But
didn't like.
again,
okay, drama.
question. That's another conversation for another day.
Another day. Everybody go research it. We'll talk about it next week.
Yeah. And I have been reading a lot of fantasy books this year. That is like what's overtaking my TBR. It's making me very happy. I love delving into worlds that are not the one I currently exist in. But I am starting to incorporate more romance. I think we all know not that I was on an anti-romance thing. It just so happened that the books I was picking up did not have romance plot lines, like main plots.
Fair.
A lot of them had romance subplots. And now I'm like actively seeking out romance books. And it's making me happy.
Yay, fun. I had 2 goals for 2023, and they are as follows: read 200 books and no Colleen Hoover books.
Nice.
So on the front, on charge 1, read 200 books. Girly pops, things are not going well. They're not going bad, but they're not. So I had my Goodreads goal set for 200, and then I was consistently 17 books behind, and that made me not want to read. That made me feel bad. It did not make me feel motivated. It made me feel sad. So then I said, girl, lower your goal so that the number goes a little lower so it feels more attainable, and it's worked. So then I'm set my Goodreads goal at 175. I'm only 5 books behind, which is doable for me to catch up. I just finished my 71st book of the year. I'm gonna finish my 72nd later tonight. I'm almost done a book. But yeah, I'm still trying to hit that 200 because I read over 200 last year, so I'm gonna really try. But honestly, if I get anything over 150, I'm happy. If I read any books, I'm happy. That's what I would like to say. I just feel like, and this is like, I was literally reflecting on this. I was walking to my car today in 32-degree heat. And I was considering like why I'm reading less books. And I was like, I'm busy, but I'm always busy. So like, what is it? And I was like, I think honestly, it's like, because I am like, my mood is the most stable it's been probably in my entire life, that I feel like I do not need to compensate with obsessive reading. And I was like, damn, this is really hurting my reading. This like me being mentally well really is taking a toll on my ability to reach my reading goal, which sucks. But I'm trying to like give myself grace, and like it's something I made up. It's fictional. It's a construct Danielle created that I need to read this amount of books.
Right.
But I just like even numbers, so I really want to get to 200.
That's fair.
We'll see. But no Colleen Hoovers. But you know, I have been tempted by that Colleen Hoover and Tara Fisher book. I said both those names wrong. Colleen Hoover, Taryn Fisher book. I've been tempted, and I haven't succumbed to my temptation, which honestly, that deserves a prize, a reward of some sort.
I agree.
We're blowing through this. So we're, I guess, like officially over halfway through the year. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
June.
It's June.
So we had way back in January or February, whenever we put out that thing.
Yeah.
We talked about anticipated books that we're super excited about. Have you read any of your highly anticipated books?
So, just as a reminder, my most anticipated books of the year were Threads of Power, or The Fragile Threads of Power by V.E. Schwab, The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi by Shannon Chakraborty, Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute by Talia Hibbert, Sorry Bro by Taline Voskuni, and Darkwater Daughter by H.M. Long.
Yeah.
I have not read The Fragile Threads of Power yet. TBD if I'm reading it early. I think I am, but I just haven't read it yet. I did read in May The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi by Shannon Chakraborty, and it was phenomenal.
Ooh.
Oh my God, speechless. I haven't been able to make videos about it. I filmed a video where I talked about it today. Because I feel like I can't do it justice. I don't know if it's because I'm out of practice making videos or what, but there is something about it that I'm like, I don't want to not do this book justice when I talk about it, because it was so phenomenal. It is a master class in storytelling.
Ooh.
Like, I loved the David Bond trilogy. I really loved the world building and the magic system and the characters that Shannon created. The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi is like on another level. It's honestly, the level of storytelling for me is very close to where I put the 5th season by N.K. Jemisin.
Ooh.
Like, they're kind of in a class all their own for me. And it's about Amina telling her story to this person we meet at the beginning of the book. And so it goes back and forth between us like being in the past-ish present, to like her and this narrator kind of person sort of catching up and becoming on the same page. Like, it's very cool how it's done, and probably one of my favorite endings of a book.
Cool.
I just got the arc of Darkwater Daughter by H.M. Long, and it's actually sitting right next to me because it's on my TBR for June. I'm hoping, I was supposed to set up a thing with Hannah on socials, so I'm hoping we can get that set up. Everything kind of fell apart this year. So TBD, but I might be interviewing Hannah on my socials the week of that release, which is the week of July 11th. And then I just bought Sorry Bro. It's on my Pride TBR for this month.
Cool.
So, yeah, I will read the Talia Hibbert book at some point, but I famously have not been reading YA this year. The only YA books I've been reading are by Nisha Sharma. That's it.
Which is fair.
The only YA books I've been reading.
Which is fair. It's fair.
So yeah, it's been, I've slowly been making my way through my most anticipated books. And I don't think I've read any that were on, oh no, I have read a couple that were on your list.
Slay. Speaking of my list, my list had Yellowface by R.F. Kuang, Studying Drowning by Ava Reed, Happy Place by Emily Henry, How to Be a Young Anti-Racist by Ibram X. Kendi and Nick Stone, and The Stolen Heir by Holly Black. And I'm proud to say I've read half of one of those books.
Nice.
But I own more than that. So I do not yet own Yellowface. And that is like my most highly anticipated read of the year. It's kind of giving like what Astrid Parker is giving, where it's like, I was so excited, but now I'm like, I what if it lets me down? So then don't want to read it. So I'll get to it eventually. But it's just not the time, not the place for me right now. I don't think Study and Drowning's come out yet. Happy Place, I'm halfway through. That one is also sad. Like, I don't know. All these books are a little too sad for me right now. I need like fun little marriage of convenience books. That's all I need. I don't need real life problems and real life people.
Have you read The Duchess Deal by Tessa Dare?
I've read one Tessa Dare book, and it was something with a Scott in the title. So no.
Okay, you need to look up The Duchess Deal.
The Duchess Deal. Okay. I'll look it up. Sounds good. I'll take it.
It's a marriage of convenience.
I love that. I have not read How to Be a Young Anti-Racist, and I do own The Stolen Era. I've literally bought it from the day it came out, and it's been sitting.
And it's okay.
Here's the thing. I've just been reading electronic books. Like me reading, like I got Happy Place as a physical copy, Stolen Era as a physical copy. I'll eventually get Yellowface as a physical copy. I'm not reading physical books right now.
We're on opposite.
Yeah.
We're opposites because I am exclusively reading physical books. It's very difficult for me to read ebooks right now. Like my eyeballs can't do it. I just put together a box of books I'm want to donate and stuff, and so many of them were on my physical TPR this year. I was like,
that's awesome. That is awesome. I've been reading so many ebooks and audiobooks, which has been a nice change for me. I really fell off the audiobook bandwagon. I was listening to a lot of podcasts, but now she's back on her audiobook business. Nice. So that is we've still got some books to anticipate coming out, which is exciting. Which is amazing. Okay.
Yeah. So next thing that was in that episode was our 2023 manifestations.
Yeah.
How are those going for you?
I have gone to the movies a lot, which is good.
I have too, actually.
One of my manifestations go to the movies. I won't, and I have been. I've taken the stairs exactly equivalent of 1 week's worth because the elevator was broken for that week.
Right.
So she do be what it is. I'm gonna graduate in 2023, but I won't actually have my convocation until 2024. But in my heart, it'll be 2023. So that's a thing. As long as I pass my classes. Didn't get another cat yet. Still got time. Not currently in a relationship. Still got time. How about you?
And we're really close to 1,000 followers.
We are?
Yeah, we're at 952.
We've been there. I don't know why I'm saying it on.
But we also haven't been posting. I know. So I'm not surprised that we haven't.
Every time we talk about it on the podcast, we get like a little bump, and then like people are like, haha. You guys should post more often. We're like, sure.
Yeah, sure. But we are making our way towards that goal. Let's see. Upgrade my life. That has been going well, actually. I can't remember. I guess the thing I've been doing most consistently the last 2 months is trying to upgrade my wardrobe.
Ooh.
I'm getting really vulnerable in this episode. So, I have been not having a great time with my appearance and my sense of self. And part of that is due to my clothes not being like I'm not enjoying my wardrobe. My clothes don't fit the way I want them to, that kind of thing. So I decided in May that I was going to try out the rental services Newly and Rent the Runway because I had a bunch of events coming up, and rather than really stressing myself out and going to stores that were not going to have things in my size, I was like, let me see if I sort of like, spend like maybe make the decision to not make fashion purchases and try out these rental services if they're going to sort of do what I need them to do. And Rent the Runway was not successful at all. I was more successful with the handbags that I rented from them than the clothes. I think I wore 1 out of 4 shipments. I wore 1 article of clothing.
Wow.
None of them fit.
Damn.
Nothing fit. Nothing looked good. They had a very low selection every time I went to go fill my bag. Of like things in my style, in my size.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know if that's because they were out for rental, if they just don't have a large selection of them or what. So I've canceled my Rent the Runway subscription. Newly has been a push and pull. Every month there's always been a couple pieces that don't fit, but I have had some successes. I actually just wore a dress today to work that I really liked, that I'm renting. And it's been really nice to sort of figure out like where are the holes in my wardrobe, what is functional, what is fashionable, what is making me feel like myself. And it's been fun to kind of like explore that again.
Yeah.
So I have been spending a little bit more money on clothes than I have in the recent past, but it has been necessary.
Cool.
Things I've
Exciting.
had the most success with and purchased the most: jeans.
Oh, interesting.
Shocker. Madewell. I'm a big fan of Madewell jeans. So
Fair.
I guess that's where I'm at in my upgrading my life situation right now, is I'm spending a little bit of time focusing on my wardrobe, especially going into the summer. Number 2, show up on socials, TikTok, IG, and YouTube. I have not posted on YouTube at all this year, except
okay.
our own YouTube channel. And I would say for the most part, I've shown up on TikTok and Instagram. I am pretty consistent about posting to both places every
Yeah.
time I post.
Mhm.
And it's going. It definitely is not as consistent as I would like it to be, but life is challenging.
It do be.
I was hoping for more event opportunities. It's still early in the year. I have not been seeking those out because my work schedule has been crazy. So the time I've been taking off of work has been for non-book related things.
Fair.
And moving content out of hobby space. This is something that I actually really want to work on this summer. And I'm hoping to sort of figure out, because I feel like there's a piece of the puzzle missing, and I finally have the brain space now that grad school is over to be like, okay, what?
Fair. Fair. Exciting. Exciting. All right. Remember when we said we were gonna post the bingo card on our Instagram, and I said, yeah, Deirdre, don't worry, I'll do it. And then I didn't post the bingo card on Instagram. You know what? I think I probably still have it on my Canva. Hold on. Because I remember I did make it. Hold on. Oh, little girl, talk amongst yourselves. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, boop, boop. Spoody, boo, doo. Boody, boo, boo, boo.
What was the last movie you watched?
In theaters or in my house?
In theaters.
My house. I went and saw Evil Dead Rise. In the cheap theater with my friend Jackie for her birthday. We went and saw it. It was very gory. It was very fun. There was a scene in the kitchen where one of the Evil Dead women who she attacks, because it's a family, which I was like, oh my god. But it's like a mom who gets turned into this demon. I don't know if you're familiar with the Evil Dead franchise. But it's her and her 3 kids and then her sister. So she turns into a zombie and she starts killing all her family. And I was like, this is a lot, to be honest with you. And then there's a scene she's in the kitchen and or maybe it's the daughter, one of the two. She grabs a cheese grater and grates this woman's leg. And I was like we saw a 9 p.m. screening. It was too late. We were in a theater with it was us 2, a fellow behind us, a couple in front of us who were wearing 3D glasses when it was not a 3D movie. And then a dad and his son who was probably 8 years old. He was way too young to be here. So who got up halfway through the movie and left. So we were having a great time. We were having a hoot and hollering of a time.
I have to say, this has to be months ago at this point.
Yeah.
I accidentally scraped myself on our cheese grater trying to get something out of a cabinet, and oh my god. Number 1, it took forever for that to heal. Number 2, it was so painful.
Oh my gosh. Ooh. That's nuts. Yeah, it's just like one of those things where you're like, oh, I hate it. What was the last movie you saw in theater, boys?
The Little Mermaid.
How was it?
So this is the first place I'm giving my public opinion.
Whoa, okay.
Because I didn't even post on social that I went to go see it.
That's okay.
Hallie is perfect. She is perfection. She is Ariel. She is everything I ever wanted and more.
Nice.
Exceeded my expectations. The movie was fine. It was nothing special.
Yeah.
I think they wanted to change the tone, but they didn't want to change the script.
Oh.
Which makes it very difficult.
Yeah.
And my wishes for it were that they had actually followed through with a lot of the plot changes.
Yeah.
And that they'd actually delved into changing some of the plot instead of attempting to copy and paste while also rearranging some things. Because I think that's where they got into some issues for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I have to say.
That's okay. I don't think I can find the Kevin thing right now, so I'm sorry that I made a stall for nothing. Yeah, so some of the things that we remember we talked about, and if you want to go back and listen, a fair reader, or fair listener, and tell us what we wrote. I love that. But some of the ones we remember for sure that we talked about were a shift in content creation platforms. I mean, like YouTube Shorts are kind of going off, but it's just people reposting their TikToks. So
yes, and there was that attempt at Lemon 8 because TikTok was under fire from the US government. I did download and I did upload to Lemonade at least once. But
couldn't be bothered.
I think everybody's pretty set in their situations.
Yep. Defamation lawsuit. I don't think that's happened yet.
Nope.
Still got time. Book event causing drama.
I don't think so.
We still got time.
We've still got time. There are plenty of events happening over the next few months.
That's true, in the summer. Celebrities on Book Talk.
Oh, I will say, not that it's causing drama, but I did hear that at a Polycon, which is coming up, they have influencers, and there are 2 influencer teams, and one of them has their hotel covered, and the other one does not.
Drama.
To me, that's drama.
It is drama, because I'm like, if you're not going to do it for everybody, don't make it public. Don't like let people know you're not doing it.
No, unless you were doing the kind of thing where it's like local influencers who don't need accommodation. But if you're putting somebody on an influencer team, I would recommend doing the same thing for everybody.
Cringe. That's so awkward. It's giving very much the Tarte trip too that they just took, that they did it in 2 seasons. Were you following with that? It's giving that.
No.
But it was crazy. It was very much all that, except for worse, because it was like way more money. They were like,
right.
I want to say they were in Bali, but I could be wrong. Celebrities on Book Talk. Have there been?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think so.
Someone saying more spice in YA. I honestly have not been engaging with the discourse enough to know if that is something that's been happening or not. No. So we've got some months to make up. Let's go start some things online. Let's start getting things going. I've got a bingo card to fill out. What are you reading, or do you want me to go first for a card read?
I can go first. Today I started Painted Devils by Margaret Owen. It is the sequel to Little Thieves. Ooh. And I'm a couple chapters into the audiobook, which is read by, I will pull up the audiobook so I can tell you who it's read by, Saskia Marlaved. And she's phenomenal. She did the audiobook of The Wolf and the Woodsman, and many other books, and she has very quickly become probably one of my top 3 audiobook narrators. I will absolutely listen to a book if Saskia is narrating it. She's great. And at the beginning of this book, we are with Vanya again, and she has accidentally created a cult.
Slay.
And she's in some deep water pretty off the bat, which I'm like, I really love Marco's writing style. I really love the characters, and the stakes are big enough, and everything that's happening is meeting those stakes, which I sometimes find in fantasy it doesn't quite match up all the time.
Yeah.
Especially in like not adult fantasy, because this definitely toes the line of like YA new adult. And yeah, because I just finished The Ashes and the Star Cursed King, whatever the heck it was called, which the series as a whole, thumbs down for me. And
okay,
last night I finished The Foxglove King by Hannah Whitten, which was phenomenal. Loved it. Can't wait for the second book.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've just stumbled upon a series on Kindle Unlimited that I'm loving, and Precursor was the reason why I brought up Marriage of Convenience earlier, because it's a series of Marriage of Convenience books. The series is called The Windsors. It's by Katharina Maura. Currently there's 3 books in the series. I think there's like 1 spin-off book, and the 4th book comes out in September. And it's about this family called the Windsors, who are very, very rich, and their grandmother has arranged marriages for all of them. And each book is another sibling who gets married or doesn't get married. They are quite literally just light and fun, and I'm like hee hee hee, giggle, kicking my feet reading them, having so much fun, because they're just like the perfect pace. They're a little bit heartfelt, like there's bits of the book that you're like, ouchie, but she moves and she grooves and she gets in and she gets out. So I've been really enjoying those books so far. I'm almost done reading all of them, which sucks, but it do be what it is. I also recently listened to Quietly Hostile by Samantha Irby. It was an audiobook that it's like a series of essays, but she is hysterical. And it's just I downloaded it from Libro FM for as part of their advanced listening club thing, just kind of on a whim, because the cover has a skunk on it, and I was like, love skunks. And it is like very good. I didn't realize she has a book that has come out, like a prior book that was like really, really well loved. So I'm excited to go back and read it, but it's literally just her talking about like her life, her relationship. She's married to another woman. It's just like these like funny things. She talks about the pandemic a little bit. They're just kind of like slice of lifey, but with a little more like it's like slice of lifey, and then you're like, oh man, it has deeper meaning, holy crap. Which I like. And she does the audiobook herself, so it's delightful. It's delightful. I've been really enjoying that. And then other than that, I've just been reading The Anthropocene Reviewed again. Don't look at me. It's a good book, okay? It's a good book, and it makes me happy and sad at the same time.
So I actually have a funny story.
Okay.
I knew I owned that book.
Yeah.
I knew I did not donate it. And today I finally started going through like places in my apartment where books were hanging out, but I couldn't see them. And I found it in a basket that was on top of my bookshelf. And I literally picked it up and I was like, I knew I owned it.
Yes, I love that. So now you can read it.
So now I can read it. I don't know where I put it though.
It's back on the fridge. No,
it's somewhere. It's somewhere.
We'll never know. That's wonderful. And I still have to go buy a physical copy of it. I've just literally been re-listening to the audiobook, which is the best audiobook credit I've ever spent.
I'm
I've
sure.
gotten my money's worth.
I know I have the audiobook. I just have never put it on.
It's good. It's good alert. It's freaking good. All right, kids.
We did it. We made it to the end. If you made it to the end of this episode, you should head on over to our socials, either on Instagram at Books on the Brain Pod, or if you're watching us on YouTube, you can go ahead and leave us a comment, and you can leave us the rainbow emoji, because we're taking back the rainbow, kids.
Oh my god.
Oh, that was aggressive.
I liked it. No, I liked it. Thank you.
But it's Pride Month, so we're gonna throw some rainbows everywhere. Why not? You can also like, what the heck is the outro? You can follow us on our own personal accounts. I'm at Deirdre Rose Morgan on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, which I may start posting to. Maybe.
Fun. Let us know. Please do. You should do, I'm supposed to be talking about my own socials, but you should do like a little try on haul of all the clothes that you're getting in your rental services, because I'm curious.
I should. I haven't been, but I should.
Because now I didn't know this was happening, and I was like, you have been doing this for a while and I haven't gotten a single haul.
No, I'm so sorry.
You can also follow me on at DJ Books on TikTok, Instagram, or I don't know, but those two places. Sometimes Pinterest, but not very much anymore.
We will chat to you in the next one. Please let us know how your goals from this year are going so far. We would love to know while you're on our socials already. And yeah, we'll chat to you in the next one, whenever that is.
Woo!
Bye.